And this is Not That Serious. Welcome back.
I'm excited to be back. This is the first time I've been on the podcast in a relationship.
Oh!
And I've been on quite a couple times at this point.
Yeah. Well, are you talking Kyndal's Corner too, technically? Yeah.
Every time I've ever been on it, I've always somehow not been in a relationship, been in between relationships.
It's the podcast curse.
Don't say that. Well, now I'm here.
Well,
and
you're here. Yeah, you
very
broke
happy,
it.
and I'm in a very happy relationship. So
I feel like this was perfect because there's so many reasons why we decided to do this episode. Mainly, and I was like, well, we did dating horror stories. We said even on the show we have to do another version,
right,
but positive. I feel like also this show can very quickly turn into like the professional haters show.
For sure.
Because I don't know what else to say. Like, all my friends are professional haters. So today we're going to be positive, I think.
That'll be so nice.
It'll be so good. How are you, though?
I'm really good. I'm trying to so I leave for Tahoe in a couple weeks. Like, in like 8 weeks, I'll be in a different
for the whole
state
summer
for 3 months. Which also brings up every time I'm with my partner, we only see each other on weekends. And so every weekend it feels like I'm getting closer and closer to leaving. So
yeah,
I know it's so sad, but it's good. Like it's weekends are always so lovely.
Yeah, and then you just have a party on the weekend.
I know, exactly. How are you doing?
I'm good. I think like I'm excited to do this episode because like, well, I've been good. I have been dating, which is so strange. I've been like out on the town. I've been talking. I was on the apps. I'm technically still on the apps.
It's a scary world.
It's really frightening on the apps. I don't know if I like them. But funny enough, I know you met your partner on Bumble.
I did.
I have a friend, and I'm not going to disclose who, but I have a friend who's met this really cool guy also on Bumble.
A lot of people have met I know several people, probably like 5 or 6 people who have met their partners on Bumble and have been together for years.
And that makes me really want to rescind my previous statement on how much I hated Bumble.
Yeah.
However, Bumble has just not worked for me in the past.
That's fair.
Like, my last relationship came off of Hinge.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, should I give Bumble a shot? I don't know. Am I ready to be in a relationship? I don't know. I'm happily single.
Well, okay, so I have said this before, but I think the thing about dating that makes things good is like, especially first dates, you're just getting to know the person.
Totally.
Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to marry this person, or, oh, like, I'm going to be forever with this person. You're just genuinely trying to get to know them on a personal level, just like you would grab coffee with a friend or something like that. And I think people put so much pressure on it that dating, like, doesn't become fun anymore.
Yeah.
And then it really tires you out. I think that's when people start to feel like, oh, like, I'm so tired of this dating thing. Well, if you're just like have no stakes and you're just trying to enjoy your time and get to know people, and you're like, oh, cool, like, I don't vibe with this person, that's it. Like, it's not like a waste of time then you're like, oh, whatever. But to be fair, it's not like I was in the trenches for like years on years on years, and maybe at that point it does get a little tiresome, and at that point maybe you need some more intense therapy.
Yeah,
it might be you.
She said, I don't know what else to say.
I don't know. Everybody needs therapy though.
Yeah, everybody. This is an ad for therapy. BetterHelp.
Yes.
But I do think, like, I was saying, like, too, I think it's going to be so good to do this episode because there are plenty of you. I know my demographic. Most of my demographic is, like, 85, if that, more probably, % women in, like, their mid to late 20s. Yeah. And if you're anything like me, who's also a female in her mid to late 20s, we're in our mid-20s.
Don't even say that. We're still early. Mid-20s is 25. And then once you hit 26,
we are like mid-20s, Anna.
Say that.
Isn't that so weird? Okay, so mid-20s. Either way, like, I think it's so easy to get caught up and be like, I hate dating. It's all horrible. Yeah. There's no good men left. There's nothing good in this world. Love doesn't exist. I've been there. I'm currently fighting out of that trench right now. And this episode is going to be a great reminder that love does exist. Women are not out for your non-existent money, men.
Period.
Men are not out to, hurt you all the time, women. And all my other friends who are just having a hard time, love exists.
And it's not that serious.
And it's never that serious.
It's not that serious. That's the fun part about dating is it's not that serious until it is.
Until it gets a little bit serious. But we don't get there. We just like to talk about the fun stuff. But before we get into anything else dating related and describe our outfits today, question of the week, what pissed you off on the internet this week?
I have two things.
Yes.
So firstly, I would like to respond to the haters out there who hated my blanket trick.
Oh!
I need to come for you guys. You're pissing me off. Not really. It's not that serious to me. But I feel like people, as someone who's dyslexic and cannot read, can you please read? Come on. Or I at least said it out loud to you. The blanket trick is, for one, when you're not used to touching someone yet and you're trying to have fun and be a little coy.
Yes.
That is part of the fun of dating. It's not as fun. You can, listen, if that's your prerogative and you just want to say, give me a kiss.
Fine.
Happily. You know?
Be boring.
Sure. But it's also fun to just play around.
Play a little game.
Be a little flirtatious. Give a little bit of mystery.
This is why, like, some of y'all aren't happy.
Yeah. Just enjoy.
This is actually why. I think, like, also, if you think about it this way, like, that video got 1 million views, by the way. The video is almost at 2 million views, which is so stupid to think about. And the amount of comments that were like, women don't have to try that hard. It's not that hard for women. You guys just literally just can look at people and you get whatever you want. I was like, wow. There's a lot of hostility in these comments.
Well, yeah, people also were like, middle school Riz. What were you doing?
Middle school Riz is crazy.
What are you doing in middle school? Who are you having over on your couch, wrapped up in a blanket in middle school, trying to, like, make out? I'm so sorry.
Well, that's how I know they didn't get any in middle school or high school or now, because they literally consider anything that is, like, not direct, like, childish. Seek help. 1, 2, go kiss somebody.
Yeah, try it out and then tell me.
Yeah.
Once you try it and it works for you and it does amazing things for your love life, maybe then come back to that video and leave a positive comment.
I also have something to say for the one person that stitched the video and they probably thought I didn't see it, but I did see it and I actually saved it. And you guys, you called us neurotypical, which is not only offensive, it's also wrong. So go to hell for that too. It's like he was like, neurotypicals will do anything without, like, to avoid direct communication. I was like, who said that? And also, who's going to tell him? That was crazy.
I'm dyslexic, y'all. Please. It is part of my brand. So that was kind of rude to me.
It was so offensive. I was like, damn, Nadia's like assuming shit. But all that aside, thanks for 1 million views.
Love you.
Love
guys.
you. Kisses. Heart. What else was up on the internet this week?
Okay. So my real thing is, have you ever seen those things on TikTok that are like the side by side? So it'll have like a really interesting video and then it'll have like another video of like them like building something or like smashing something.
Yeah.
And I love them so much because obviously I'm very entertained by like whatever conversation's going on the side, but I also am obsessed with like the, like, is it smashing well enough or like the like clay being like squished.
Sure.
But then that's all my For You pages.
Oh no.
And then it just like makes me feel so sad.
You gotta like skip past them because
yes,
you gotta just skip past them sometimes.
Yes, it's like a virus. It'll really take over your entire thing. Right now, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Whose Line Is It Anyways? It was
I've
like
never seen it, but
okay.
I know of it. Yeah,
that's all my For You pages right now.
Really?
And I can't get away from it. And sometimes they do really funny things, and so I'm like, oh, I have to watch it. And then for the next month, I guess my TikTok is just going to be Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it happens. I think like right now my TikTok is just Subway Surfers with Reddit posts. They play Subway Surfers and they read the Reddit posts with like the AI machine. And sometimes when I'm like, I'll get like 6 in a row and I'm like, okay, I have to just skip through them so that my For You page can like get back to normal.
Yeah.
But some of the Reddit posts they be posting are really juicy. Also, before I hopped on, I heard like 2 different like really cute dating stories that I'll share when we get into it. I know it was I don't know, the phones really do be listening because it was like back to back 2 like really great stories. And I was like, this is awesome. This is content.
You should stitch some of them. Maybe you should save them and then stitch be like, we have the videos.
We have tea.
We want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's actually so That's actually so good. Actually, thanks, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Our in-house social media coordinator,
Of course.
market
Now,
extraordinaire.
what pissed you off on the internet this week? Strong question.
I know. It's like every week I don't have an answer to this question. I'm trying to think because again,
you do have to answer it every week, which is hard.
it is so hard. I think like unfortunately, like I've been spending less time on the internet, especially looking at things that piss me off. So, I'm just here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, I know it pissed me off on the internet this week. Can somebody get a hold of Caitlyn Jenner and take away her phone, throw it away? I don't understand. Also, and I saw a tweet about it, so I'm just going to say it myself. Does Caitlyn Jenner not know that she's also transgender? Or does she just hate trans people?
It is so strange. I've never really understood that.
I don't get it.
But
it's like, honestly, it's at this point, it's beyond me. But that's actually thoroughly pissing me off. Because my thing too is like, she's so vocal every time.
Yeah.
And it's like, girl, sit down. Like, what is the problem?
Yeah. We need a new spokesperson.
Like,
please.
for real. You need to chill. Anyway, so that was probably pissing me off on the internet this week because it's like, and every week that Caitlyn Jenner opens her fucking mouth, I'm mad because I'm like, why are you speaking?
Yeah.
Go vote for your Republicans and keep it pushing. Like, just do whatever you need to do, but just like stop talking.
Right.
No,
that's fair.
Jesus, stop talking. Because now you look crazy. I'm sorry. You look insane. Is anybody else going to say it? Is anybody else going to say it?
I think lots of people have said it before.
I would also agree with that. I think plenty of people have also saying it. But I'll also say it on this show. My show is no room for actual bigotry and hatred, so I will shut down everything that Caitlyn Jenner has been saying because that shit is just not okay.
You rebuke.
We rebuke. Moving on. So I told Anna that I was going to wear an outfit that I would wear on a dream date of mine that I haven't gotten to go on yet.
Mm-hmm. I also have not been on my dream date.
Okay, wait. So is that what you're wearing? Like,
I mean, I could wear this to my dream date. Sure.
Would you like to share?
Okay.
The outfit details and your dream date.
Okay, so my outfit details, I am wearing all blacks. Usually it makes me feel like mysterious and like interesting, also comfortable. I like the way I look in black. So usually that's why I wear black. I'm a chilly girl, so I always have to have a little sweater on because you never know what's going to entail, whatever. But my dream date's pretty casual, and I've always wanted to go to the most disgusting mini golf place ever. And there's a reason. Don't write me off just yet. So my thought is,
my God,
it is. I think I've submitted it once.
You have
the podcast. It's coming back around.
I knew exactly who it was when I saw it.
But I think it would be so much fun to go to just a dirty, disgusting mini golf establishment because I think it'll be so funny. And then for years to come, you can have that to laugh with your partner about. Because if everything's just so perfect and good all the time, it's just kind of boring to me. But if something's just if the mini golf place is falling apart or the water's a weird color or it kind of smells like mildew, that's, to me, I'm kind of that is just so funny and quirky.
I don't disagree.
And then you can just giggle and laugh the entire time. Also, I think it's fun because if you kind of run out of things to talk about, you can just shit on the establishment a little bit.
Absolutely.
And so that kind of fills the dead air.
Yeah.
And it gives you both something to come together on.
Here's the thing, I don't disagree with you. I think it's genius in all of its glory. The explanation makes most sense. I would totally agree with you. I think it's the desire to the intention is we're going to find the nastiest, dirtiest place versus we stumbled upon the nastiest, dirtiest place and we still had a good time.
Well, I would like for my partner to stumble upon it and take me there. I actually have told two of my exes that I wanted to go to the dirtiest, nastiest place ever.
And they never took you.
And they never took me. So I'm kind of hesitant to tell my current person. someone just
You're the loudest sneeze on God's green earth.
Take them to the green
the who?
The golf course. That's what I was thinking. The mini golf course.
Take the sneeze.
Yeah, because dirty nasty.
Moving on. Okay, good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So we'll see. We'll see if I ever get to go on my dream date.
We got to put in a feeler for you. I feel like he'll listen to the episode and I think he might get some ideas.
I asked him about it. I was like, are you going to listen? And he said he didn't know yet because last time when I did my other episode, I started talking about a date that I had been on that wasn't him,
it hurt his feelings.
And he was like, she didn't tell me about that one yet. And so he got nervous and then didn't finish the episode.
Oh.
So I asked him if he was going to listen to this one. And he was like, I don't know. He's like, I feel weird knowing about all the sweet things other people have done for you. I was like,
oh, that's valid.
I was like, that's fair. I was like, but you don't want to hear the sweet, nice things I say about you.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, hopefully he listens. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I feel weird because I've definitely sent this podcast out to a couple of the different suitors that I have been entertaining, and they all love the show.
Good.
It's like the weirdest thing ever. They all come back with nothing but nice things to say. In fact, I'll send them one episode and they'll be like, I listened to another episode.
Aww.
And another episode. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, stop listening because I don't need.
You've got good men on your roster.
Thank you. I think I do too, but I'm nervous because I don't want any of the future men or current men that I'm seeing to listen to this episode and then not be original. That's the fear. It's like I'm about to give away all my trade secrets, like all the things that make me tick and make me happy. And then they're going to come back and like suddenly know exactly what to do. And I'm like, I just gave away my sauce.
Well, what you need to do is then that's the bar. And they need to
raise it,
do something more. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you have an idea of the path you need to go on, but now that's like you should know. Now you have the answer, so you have to go even more above
you
that.
Gotta
be a little creative.
Yeah.
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 So take everything with a grain of salt because you have to make your own.
Very good. You know what? You're right. So then I don't feel bad about telling you guys what I'm wearing and why. I'm wearing this cute orangey, yellowy, like very summer set. I feel like my hair and my makeup are done so cute.
So good.
Thank y'all. Because my dream date that I've yet to go on, and I've been in plenty of parks, I want to go on like an actual like picnic date. Like I want the man that I'm seeing to like plan out everything. Like I want a basket, I want wine, I want a plethora of snacks, I want to be fed grapes. Like, and I want a situation and I want it to be hot and sunny and like secluded and like I just want like all the good vibes, all the good energy, and I want it to be like straight out of a movie.
Yeah.
And this is what I would wear.
Yes, this is very picnic core.
Thank you. It is giving very picnic core. So this is what I would wear on my picnic date. And fellas, take notes. That being said, let's get into it, shall we?
Yes, we should.
I don't even know where to start. Like positive dating experiences. Maybe like the best date you've ever been on, since we're talking about dates. I haven't been on that date, but
best date I've ever been on. Well, here's the thing. I like casual dates anyway. So I love going to like a little brewery, or I really like just staying at home and watching a movie. I'm not a big movie person, but just like being able to like hold hands
just
with a
chill.
person and like just feel comfortable is kind of where I feel the most confident. But I don't know about the most fun date I've ever been on. I haven't honestly gone on any crazy dates. Like everything's pretty chill. Have you gone on any crazy dates?
I don't know. Like I also do very like chill, casual dates. I think like it could have been crazy and it could have been fun, and it's what drew me to my ex was when I first met my ex. We were chatting, like we were like texting, and he was like, what are you doing right now? And I was like, nothing, like I'm home. And he was like, you want to go to Cafe Intermezzo? And it was like late, like it was like 8 or 9. And he was like, I'll send you an Uber to your house. Like, you know, like we'll go to Cafe Intermezzo and it'll be fun. And I was like, for some reason I couldn't go. Like I actually physically couldn't go, for something was happening at the house. But we had planned a date for the next day to like meet in person and then go to Cafe Intermezzo as well. So like it's like things like that where I'm like, oh, like that would have been really fun and spontaneous and different. And I was like really into him. My thing is like any date can be fun. I'm having a hard time getting interested in men like at all, because like I'm just like not interested in what I'm been dealt with right now.
What do you mean you're not interested? Like, they're not giving you, like, the intellectual place? Like,
this is how I know I'm probably not ready for like a relationship right now, because like I can't even place like what it is. It's like
okay.
it's just like nothing's there. Like I'm like, everybody's really nice, or like everybody, like nobody's like boyfriend material.
Got it.
You
Okay.
know, like I'm just getting to know people, and I'm like, I'm about to hurt some feelings, I'm pretty sure. But like it's just like not giving what it needs to give right now. Like I can't see going on like dates with these people. I can see like hanging out. I can't see like anything like romantic, actually, you know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But we're talking positive, so I guess I should circle back.
Yes.
So positive dating experiences. Yeah, the Cafe Intermezzo one was definitely up there for sure.
Well, maybe let's take it back a little bit from the to the beginning.
Sure.
What was your first crush like? Like, did you have like an elementary school crush?
I like don't remember. Like I genuinely don't remember. Did you?
Yeah, I remember. I know their name and everything, and I know them now too. We'll see if any of the high school, people that I went to high school with. Yeah. So the first time I had a crush was in first grade, and his name was Kyle. Maybe I shouldn't say his last name on here. Kyle. Yeah, we're gonna go. That is actually his name.
Okay, hi Kyle.
His name was Kyle, and he was in my first grade class, and he had it was almost like a red brown curly hair. And I can't even remember why I liked him. I just remember one day he was walking down the hallway and I was like, I really like Kyle. And that was it. And then like the next year I had someone else that I was interested in.
Yeah. It happens.
I mean, not that I never had my first boyfriend until I was in 6th grade. And that was so terrible because he bought me chocolates and a Gatorade for Valentine's Day. Oh. So sweet. His name was Austin. Austin. He was shorter than me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I remember he gave me the chocolates and the Gatorade, and I didn't know what to do with myself at the time. I just was so shocked and I was in 6th grade, so no one had ever like bought me anything.
Yeah.
And I told him that I was fasting from chocolate.
Why did you do that?
I don't know, because I just didn't feel like I could accept the gift.
No.
And he was like, and I was like, but for whatever reason, I was like, I'll take the Gatorade though. So I took the Gatorade, and his cousin was in my 6th grade class, and she was like, Austin bought you these chocolates, and he's so sweet. And I was like, I'm fasting, I can't have them. And that was it. And then I think we broke up shortly after.
Oh.
It was in middle school, so.
I feel like I didn't do a lot of like boy stuff in middle school. It wasn't until I like got to high school, and I remember my first kiss very vividly. It was a truth or dare, and it was with a boy that I ended up dating in high school. And it was a truth or dare, and when like you don't know how to kiss yet, I remember like when it was a truth or dare, or was spin the bottle. It was one of those. And when I like found out I had to kiss him, we meet up, and America, I want you to imagine like your lips against a wall. That's what I was doing. Like I literally did not move my lips at all. I didn't actually kiss this man. My lips just stayed where it was, and so did his. And we just like lip mashed for approximately 12 seconds.
Very
and
nice.
Then we were like, wow, we just kissed.
My first kiss was interesting too. I mean, it was good. I feel like I honestly, for the most part, I feel like I'm very happy with all of the relationships that I have, whether they ended poorly or not. I feel like I've learned a lot from a lot of them, which is really nice. And I feel like they all had a decent amount of respect for me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I remember my first kiss was this guy, and we were in theater together, and we were up in our dressing room area. I can't remember what we were doing, but I remember everybody left the room. It was during 9 to 5, the musical.
Oh.
And I remember we were waiting for him to go out for his scene, and we had to like leave, but we were the only two in the dressing room, and he like leaned in and was like, and then
I love that sound effect you gave the audience.
and then he like ran out, and then I remember being mortified because I had a little bit of sparkly lipstick on, and then I could see him I don't think anyone could tell, but I could see a little bit of sparkle like on his cheek and on his lip, and I was like, oh my gosh, because we weren't technically supposed to kiss at the time. His parents were pretty strict, and I can't remember if mine were or not at that time, but yeah, it just wasn't.
You were like, it wasn't supposed to
But
happen.
it was also the first time I'd ever kissed anybody, and so
Yeah.
it's so super scary. But yeah, and then we obviously kissed many times after that, but it was always kind of like more secretive.
It's funny you say that because like I think one thing that I feel like I can do that a lot of people can't is I can discern like good memories from like bad ones.
Yeah.
And I can still be like, that was not a good person or it wasn't a good relationship, but it still had good moments.
Yeah.
There was a time in high school, you said this story and I was like, oh my God, that brought me back to something it hit me all at once. When I was in high school, I was like dealing with this guy and I shouldn't have been dealing with him at all. He was literally the worst person ever, but this is positive dating stories. I was so obsessed with him and he was obsessed with me, but it was one of those things where it was like, he didn't want to tell people he was obsessed with me, but he was also like one of those types that was like
a secret simp.
But you could tell.
Yeah.
Like, so people were like, oh, like, of course, like he's into Kyndal, like, duh. But like, anyway, I remember we were like at improv practice.
Not improv.
It was improv practice and it was a very rainy day like today, and I was in the chorus room, I think, and I was just standing there minding my business, and this guy, he comes in, he's soaking wet, like, I mean, hair wet, like clothes wet, like everything. And I remember looking at him and I was like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, you just came outside. And he's like bursting in the room, and I'm standing on one of the risers. He comes up and he just kisses me in front of everybody, soaking wet. And I was like, and I remember just like having all these like tingles and being like, wow, like this is love. But it was like one of those moments where I was like, this is so romantic. Like, I'll never forget that, genuinely. Like, he came in the room and just like took me, and everybody just watched.
So cute. It's like a little movie moment.
It was a movie moment. It was, and he was just like,
teenage drama story.
Oh my God, it was a teenage dream, and I will never forget that. It was so beautiful. And I love that because I know one of the questions was like, how do we feel about PDA? I'm a big PDA girl, so things like that make my heart fucking flutter, honey.
Here's the thing. I don't want to be a PDA girl.
But
I am.
Yes.
It's at a point where I cannot control it.
You know what you are.
I know what I am. I am guilty. I will take the charges of people giving me stank eye and just hating my existence for a moment. But I have to hold my partner's hand.
Yep.
I rub their back a little bit. I want a little kiss on the cheek. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
There's a difference between making everybody in the room just incredibly thoroughly uncomfortable, like sucking the air out and being like, oh my God, they're making children, in front of all of us, right? And then there's like, I'm showing my partner affection, and I think everybody deserves to know how much I really thoroughly enjoy being around this person. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for other people. I think there is a line, and a lot of people don't cross it. So I'm a PDA girl. I'm an advocate for PDA as well. You should kiss your partner in public and hold their hand and show them off and tell people you're obsessed with them. And I just think that's amazing. I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's so validating.
Really?
Yeah.
You're valid.
I just always feel so bad about it. I actually tell my partner a lot. I'm like, do you think we're making people uncomfortable? Because I'm always thinking about it. Because I want to be understanding, and I want to be aware. But also at the same time, I'm like, I just want to touch you.
I just want to hold you.
I just want to say hello.
It's a time and place thing, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was obsessed with my ex. I feel like I'm trying to remember, like, we were home a lot. So I feel like there was never, like, a time. But he was also very much, like, it was, like, a very comfortable PDA. I remember when, like, we first started dating, and I was meeting all his friends, and I was so nervous because, I don't want to disclose too much information, but my ex is, like, very manly man, and like I was scared that his friends were gonna be like weird. I was scared he was gonna act different in front of his friends, right? And we were not like official yet. Like I was still like meeting people and stuff. And I remember he was like hosting a barbecue, and like he would leave like his friends were all really nice, by the way. So I would be talking and chatting with people, and he would come up and he would just like, like come up behind me, put his hand on my back, are you okay? Like, how are you feeling? Like, oh, you're good. Like, do you want anything? Do you want me to make you a plate? Like, da 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 da. And it's just like things like that where it's like, oh, like he would kiss me in front of people. He would tell them like how pretty I looked. Like, it was like, oh wow, like okay, you like me. Like,
Yeah.
you like me. You like me. Like, I don't know. Something about PDA just, like, tells me, like, oh, okay, like, you're not afraid to let people know, like, you have feelings, but you also, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that your love language? Do you think physical touch, or what is your
No.
love language? What would you consider your love language?
Acts of service.
Very
Acts
nice.
of service. And I think, like, that's more of, like, a closed door love language than, like, in public, I would say. But, like, acts of service, I don't know why. Like,
give the audience some examples. What do you mean by, because acts of service sometimes can mean different things for different people, technically.
yeah. I think it's, like, boils down to, like, knowing what I need and just thinking ahead. So, like, let's say, like, you know, you're at my house and I have to, like, run an errand and I'm, like, stressed as shit. And I'm like, like, everything's all over the place and da-da-da. If I come home and you've, like, tidied up my room or you've, like, drawn me a bath or, like, you know, things like that where I'm like, like, you thought about me. Like, you thought about me and you, like, did things like that is so sexy.
Yeah.
What's your love language?
So, so specifically my top love language is words of affirmation. Just because I'm a words person. So when someone's like, oh, you look really pretty, or you're very smart, or, you know, I don't know, it's just stuff like that. It makes me feel really good, and it makes me know that they're thinking about me and that they're also seeing the things that I do for people.
Yeah.
Like one of the sweetest things that my partner tells me, the thing that he says he likes most about me is that I'm a really compassionate person, which I'd never been told that by a partner before. I'd always been told, like, oh, you're really pretty, or like you're hot, or stuff like that, you know, which, you know, to some extent you do like to hear, but I think it's what's on the inside that matters. So when someone compliments me on, like, who I am as a person, how I treat other people, that means more to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I mean by words of affirmation, is like you're looking at me and you're able to decipher why you like me, and then to be able to express that to me is very meaningful. But for a relationship partner that I'm seeing romantically, physical touch is second on the list, because I do feel very comforted, like, knowing that that person is there, even if it's like they're just their hands resting on my leg, or as they're like rubbing my back, or like every now and then they give me a little kiss on the cheek or the forehead. It just makes me all giddy
and happy.
It does.
I think, like, physical touch is, like, up there. I really have to know you.
Yeah.
Like, I have to know you. I have to be comfortable. And then, like, you genuinely can't get me, like, off of you.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I'm only saying, if you're not my romantic partner, get
What
your
are we
hands off
doing?
me.
No, don't touch
Do not
me.
touch me. Don't even get close to me. Don't even breathe.
Don't
near
breathe
me.
in my direction.
Me being a compassionate person, being like, don't even think about looking at me.
Don't talk about it. No, seriously though. I love that though, that point about being a compassionate person. I feel like that those compliments are lost. You know what I mean?
Sweet. It's so sweet. And we talk about those things a lot, actually. So one of the things that we started doing whenever we first started dating was making he did it some, I did it more, honestly. Made a list of questions every time we saw each other. So I would purposely not talk to him, or I would talk to him throughout the week, but wouldn't ask him certain questions until we were in person, so we would have a lot to actually talk about in person. So I have like this huge list on my phone of all the questions I've ever asked him on our dates.
Okay.
And some of them are fun, some of them are silly, but some of them are like really nitty gritty, deep down, like relationship questions. So I think that kind of helped him know where my head was at with the relationship, and like, yeah, I think that helped.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to see that list later.
I will share it. One day I'll write a book.
I think you should.
Put all the questions in there.
You should. I'm trying to think too. Oh, speaking of writing a book, I do have a story about the best gift I've ever received. Do you have a story? I would like you to share if you have one though.
Mine's just so, yes, I do. One of the best gifts that I've ever gotten is actually, I don't think I have them near me, but are my brown Converse. And it just so happened that I posted these before my birthday this year. I posted this picture of these Converse that I really wanted, and I put them on my Instagram close friends, and I was like, who's buying me these shoes? Now I had in mind, I was like, I wonder if my partner's going to buy me these shoes. But you think that and you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's only up for 24 hours. You never know.
It is what it is, yeah.
And so I put it up, and apparently before my birthday, he went into my closet and found my shoe size and then ordered the shoes.
Yeah, that's the shit,
Yeah, and then on my birthday, I go in, I open the gift, and they're the shoes, and I'm like, how did you know my size? This is exactly what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had no idea what he was going to get me, because I'm somebody who has habitually had terrible gift givers.
Yeah, that
gifts
happens.
are the last thing on my list because I've always had. One time I had an ex for Christmas.
I know about this one, I think.
He got me a picture of himself. No joke, that was it. And it wasn't a joke. He did not give it to me as a joke, I don't think.
I think he just forgot it was Christmas.
And then, honestly, if he's out there listening.
Oh.
And he's like, it was a joke. I'm so sorry.
It wasn't
But
funny.
I did not take it as a joke. I did not think that you were giving it to me as a joke because there was no other gift.
That wasn't funny.
It was just the picture of himself.
Yeah. The thing about jokes, to be quite honest with you, they're supposed to be funny. You're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
That shit would actually make me feral.
But honestly, it is for the last 4 years. I've laughed about it so hard. I've told so many people. I really roasted that picture of this man. And so it is a gift. It is a gift.
It is a gift. It's the gift that keeps giving.
It is. I love it. And yeah, I'll cherish that memory for the rest of my life.
Okay, at least it's a good one.
It's so funny to me now. But
yeah.
It was an absolutely terrible,
nightmare situation.
Gift. Don't ever do that. If you have a partner, don't ever do that.
Why would you give?
Why would you do that?
And not in conjunction with bigger gifts.
Well, and also, he didn't pay for the picture of himself. I remember he had me drive him to Walmart, and he was like, you can't come in with me. I'm getting your gift. And I was like, okay. And I come back, or he comes back to the car, and he just was like, all right, I have it. And I was like, there's nothing in your hands.
Oh my God.
So I was like, maybe it was jewelry. I don't know. Maybe he could put it in his pocket. I'm not, whatever. I'm trying not to be a gold digger. But but then when I opened the gift and it's just a picture of himself, and he told me later, he was like, yeah, I didn't pay for it because I didn't have change or something. So I just took the picture and left Walmart. Isn't that psychotic?
Why didn't he plan that? I have no words. This is positive dating stories.
Sorry,
let me not roast him.
I didn't mean to go back into to horror story mode.
But that actually that did something for me.
But for the fact that my current partner plans, he's got, honestly at this point, he's gotten me a lot of really nice gifts.
He's a Gemini, isn't he?
He is a Gemini.
I'm curious about that. Okay.
What are you curious about?
Because I'm conducting my experiment right now. This is something I will tell the audience a bit later, but I am conducting an experiment. I will disclose the contents of that experiment later, but just understand it is astrologically related, and specifically with partners and signs and things like that. But I've never been with a Gemini, so I am curious to know if they're thoughtful partners, what's the tea there.
Mm-hmm.
But a Gemini and a Pisces is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it works out really well. I think that I can be a little bit mysterious at times, or
aloof, if you will.
Yeah, or fun, and I think that keeps him guessing. He says something about me that he really likes. Those positive affirmations really lock me in, I gotta say.
I gotcha.
He says that he always has a lot of fun with me because he never knows how I'm going to react in a positive way. It's not he's good or bad. It's just oh, I have interesting things to say that he had never thought of before, or I bring up really good questions. I don't know, my banter's
it's on point.
Top tier.
Yeah, the banter will get me every time. The banter is something that I'm oh, if you have good banter, if you can just
it is, yeah.
It's okay, you just talked me out of my pants. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. But I think the best gift that I've ever received, and I've talked about this with other people before, but this is about to embarrass some of the men that I've actually seriously seen, because this guy was somebody I never committed to, who never committed to me either. That's a horror story for another day. But he introduced me to poetry. He's the reason why I enjoyed poetry, because before I was I don't know how I feel about it, but he really liked poetry. And I remember he would like show me poems and all this stuff. And so one day we would talk on the phone for like hours and hours and hours. And he was like, I'm staying up all night and I'm making you a book. And I said, oh, whatever. And he sent me a Snapchat and he was making me a book. And he had a typewriter in his house.
Okay.
So he actually type wrote, like handcrafted, handmade a book of poetry. Every poem was either written by him about me, inspired by me, or like influenced by me. It was the craziest thing. And I, honest to God, wish I had pictures of it.
Did you not keep it?
No, I ended up giving it back because we didn't work out. But
I would have kept that.
I should have.
I
couldn't look at it.
I keep all of my gifts from any ex I've ever been with. If I got that gift, I deserve that gift.
It's the one thing I genuinely regret doing. Like, I don't regret a lot of things, but I think about often, not super often, because that was like several years ago, but damn, I wish I kept it. I think I was like trying to make this point of like, I don't need you and fuck your fucking book of poetry at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember when I received it, he handed it to me. He put it in his backpack in a towel because it was like he had construction paper and he like glued things on it. And it was like actually like handcrafted, hand done, all these poems. And I remember flipping through it and being like, this man loves me. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that didn't work out, but I can still say that is to date the best gift I've ever received from anybody. Sorry
I do
to
love
all my
a good
exes.
love letter.
I used to write letters to this guy, the same guy in high school that kissed me in the we used to write letters to each other. Where is that?
Oh, I still get love letters.
You still get love letters?
I keep all of my love letters too. Like, I have love letters dating back to like my earliest high school relationship. I've to be fair, this is probably really wrong of me.
No.
But I love love letters. It's one of my favorite. It's words of affirmation too.
It is, yeah.
So it makes sense of why I'm always like, I would love a love letter. And it's so important, like for birthdays or different things. Getting cards. I don't honestly, I probably should do it more for the people that I care about, but it's really special when I get a card for like birthdays or holidays. It makes me feel so good. And so for all of my partners that I've had throughout the years, I've always asked them to make me love letters.
Write me a letter.
Some of them did not. And they're wrong for that.
Yeah.
But that's how I knew they didn't like me that much. Or they had their own issues that they were working through. However, several of them did. Period. And some of them I cherish so much. I have like a box. Do you have your
I have a box of
exes?
Like, no.
Oh, you don't have an Xbox?
I don't have an Xbox.
I love my Xbox.
I don't have an Xbox. That's so interesting. What's in your Xbox?
It's like pictures of you and your ex. It's like love letters they've given you over the years, cards they've given you over the years. If it's like smaller gifts or like, for example, in my Xbox, I have seashells that they gave me from one of their trips. And,
oh, wow.
And it's like meaningless, honestly, from the standpoint of I probably could throw them away, but I don't know, like it makes me sometimes think about like the good stuff. You know?
That's honestly, you're better than me. When I'm like done with somebody, unfortunately, like I physically like can't look at those things, or else like I'm gonna not move on with my life. So I don't have an Xbox. I just have the memories stored up here, like to the point where like I don't even have pictures of any of the men that I've dealt with, including my most recent ex. Yeah, I don't have any pictures because I'm like, I don't need to see your face. Like I don't want to look at you. I don't want to remember anything. Forget about that ever happened. But I can remember the good things.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's however someone wants to heal. For me, at least, I always really enjoy. Honestly, I've had a lot of really wonderful exes, and I really appreciate them in my life to the extent that they were there. And I think that it's helpful for me to sometimes have those things to remind myself, like, oh, there was a reason why I was with them.
Yeah.
Hope they have a great life separate from me.
Right. Don't talk to me.
But I appreciate all the things that they were able to do for me. I appreciate all the things that they were not able to do, because then that ultimately pushed me towards meeting someone who might be a better fit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're keeping that positive energy just flowing and going. I think like knowing, I think that's like the beauty in like the relationships is like at the end of the day, even if it doesn't work out, you're like one step closer to meeting the person you're supposed to be with.
And you learn so much in a relationship.
You really do. You really do.
Yeah. So how do you know what you like if you don't know what you don't? You know, like you're never going to know like what those little pet peeves are, those things that you can't stand that honestly are not that serious until you are in the relationship and you're like, I can't stand this. Like I need somebody. Like for example, I need somebody who's gone through shit. Because if I am with somebody who doesn't understand what it's like to not really like work hard at something, or somebody who hasn't like had a lot of difficulty, it's really hard for me as someone who has been through difficult stuff to relate to them. But that's something you will not know until you've been with someone.
So you get to know them
someone who's like had a really easy life, and you're like, oh, they don't know what it's like to struggle, so it's really hard for them to be empathetic towards me when I'm struggling, because they don't know what that's like.
It's no, you're right. I think like it's also hard because it's like if you're anything like me, like you almost get caught up in like the idea of the person and not the actual person themselves. So like I'll look back on a lot of my relationships and be like, okay, did I actually like them? Like, did I thoroughly like them as a person? Did I just like spending time with them? Like, if I could go back, like, could I vouch for their character, or like, did I just like being around them? And I get really confused, honestly. I'll be like, I don't know. All I can remember is just like, I really liked you for whatever reason. And sometimes that's like enough, but other times it's like not. I don't know. I get very confused with the relationship thing. And this is also how I know I probably shouldn't be in a relationship right now. Like I have a lot to figure out and work through. 'Cause I don't know.
Just have fun.
Just vibe.
One day at a time. Just enjoy.
Oh, well, what about this? Like, do you have any green flags? Maybe this will help, because we were just talking about like, okay, what to look for. Like, how do you know if you like somebody or not? Like, do you have any like off rip, like just green flags of like, that's a good partner, like, or that's a good thing to know, clock?
Actually, I heard this recently, that if you're wondering if you're going to be with a guy or a person, this was in the context of a guy, and they're going to be a partner to you, and they're going to want to have more than a situationship, but a relationship, are the people in their lives also in a relationship? So if like all of their friends are bachelors and just like hanging out with women and like going crazy or whatever, most likely they're going to want to still be able to do that with their friends, and they're not going to be as pushed into a relationship. They're not going to want to take that next step. However, if like their brothers are married and their friends are in relationships, they're also going to want to do that as well.
That's valid. That's actually really good.
Then they're by themselves, like on their weekends, like all of their friends are hanging out with their girlfriends, they're alone or whatever. But if all of their friends are home and they're hanging out with you, they're probably going to feel a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah, that's valid. That's actually really good.
So checking to see if like people are also in relationships around that person you're looking to date is a really good sign to measure how much they're willing to get into a relationship or not with you.
That's good. Isn't
that so interesting?
That is
good. It makes so much sense.
I saw something on TikTok, and it was also in the context of a man, but I wonder like if it fits for anybody, if it fits. She was saying that if you're dating a man and you ask him what his love languages are as far as giving are, look out for, and like it's a good green flag if he does say acts of service, because like that's a man that most likely is like super thoughtful, is like going out of his way to provide for you, like going out of his way to like do things for you, versus like she's like, what am I gonna do with physical touch, like, and physical touch is like cool and everything, but like when you're like just like starting out and it's like, okay, like what's your love language, like how do you like to give love? And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting take. I'm going to take that into consideration, acts of service. But acts of service is like how I feel like I receive love best anyway. So I'm looking for somebody that's going to be compatible in that regard to begin with. That's
Having
my green
friends
flag.
is very important.
Having friends is huge.
if you don't have friends, if you don't have a solid friend group, I am very concerned. So having friends is such a green flag. Having friends that you like, like if you like their friends, makes things so much easier. Much easier.
It does make things easier.
Not saying that that's the end all be all, but it makes things so much easier.
Yeah, because when the friends are not cool or when they don't like you or they're just like lame, it's like, okay, well, what can you do with that? But on top of that, I would also argue, I think a green flag is when they are not easily influenced by their friends.
Yeah. For sure.
That's my tea. That's my tea. Yeah, that's my tea.
I also really like it when someone's very driven. That's one thing for me that I always look for in a partner. I've been really not successful in some of my previous relationships of finding people who are career driven.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't think someone has to be driven by their career, by money, or anything like that. However, for me, I'm really passionate about my career.
Yeah.
So I definitely need somebody who's really passionate and driven in achieving their career goals. That's
totally
top, one of the most important things in a relationship for me. So finding someone who's very driven,
that's important.
is so important. Oh, do you want me to ask you what I asked my partner today? My question of the day for them?
Yes.
It goes along with relationship questions. And I thought it was super helpful. So, the question that I asked today was, if you could pick 3 rules or things that are essential to a healthy relationship, what would they be?
3 rules or things that are essential to a healthy relationship.
And obviously there's more than 3, but what comes to mind?
Decisiveness, communication, compassion.
Very good. Mine were open communication, respect, being able to respect your partner, because I feel like a lot of times, especially when you're getting into a long-term relationship, whether that be marriage, whether that be different long-term relationships, there are going to be rough patches because life hits you in different ways, and there are going to be times where you probably don't always like your partner.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. If you're with them for 30 years, there's going to be probably a couple months in there at least where you're just kind of like, I can't stand you.
Right.
But if you can find somebody that you respect and you value, and you know that their values are good and morally you guys align and all of those kind of things, then typically I feel like that puts you in a really good place to respect them and to work through those challenging times. So that's really important. And then humor.
That's huge, actually. That's a really good one.
Yeah, finding someone you can laugh with, because at the end of the day, especially when things are really tough, like, you have to be able to laugh. And my partner actually said this today when we were talking about humor, is not only finding someone who is humorous, but where your humor is aligned, because a lot of people think they're funny.
They're not,
and maybe they are, and maybe they need to find someone who thinks they're funny. But a lot of times people get into relationships with people who their humors don't align. Humors don't align.
Sorry. Yeah.
And
humors don't align. Or you're just not fucking funny.
There's that too. And so then they consider the person annoying. Then they're like, this person's so annoying. That used to happen all the time. I had a partner who would just bother, like, it's not harassing, but just like bother people at drive-thrus. They would just like crack jokes, and I'm like, they already hate their life. They're working. They hate their life. Please don't make it any worse. Literally, just let them give you an attitude, because I promise you they're not making enough to take your joke.
Like, no, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Just be nice. And so, just be nice.
And I'm sure that person is going to find somebody who thinks that that's so funny and like giggle gaggles and like enjoys that. But
not me.
But it really bothered me. And that's such a dumb thing to be bothered by. But if you're with somebody for 30 years and every time you go to a drive-thru, you get a major ick or you just get so frustrated with them, that is probably not going to be a healthy relationship.
It's a red flag. Yeah,
it's
no,
not a
for
red
sure.
flag. It's just probably not going to be a healthy relationship. Maybe it's a red flag for me.
It's a red flag for me personally. I mean, it's like, yeah, think about how many times you go through a drive-through in your life.
And it's not like he was rude to them. He
was
nice
sure.
to them. He would just like joke with them, and then he would be like, they didn't joke back with me. I'm like, they hate their life. They are actively counting the seconds until they can leave, and you are in their way.
Like, you're making things worse. Damn. Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah.
So, couple green flags for you to consider in your next relationship and on your next date. From Kyndal and Anna. Ding.
Love ya.
From Not That Serious. On to submissions. We asked you guys to submit some of your own personal thoughts and dating stories. So we'll just like get on with it. I asked you guys any positive dating stories. Our first submission says, quote, "Do you like wine and sunsets? That was our first date at the beach. I still love him so much 3 years later." Fuck you. That is so sweet. That's my dream date. That was it. This one says, "I have a friends to lover romance for you." Are you an enemies to lovers or friends to lovers?
Probably friends.
She said probably friends. Okay. I was just curious what your trope preference is.
Enemies to lovers be kind of like you hate the person and you fall in love with them?
Yeah.
How does that even happen? If I hate you, I hate you.
Ask the One Direction fan fiction that's on Wattpad, because that was...
Please consult.
It was running me rampant. This one says, "My freshman year of college, I signed up to be a DJ at the student radio station. I was paired randomly with another co-host, and we quickly clicked. My family listened to the show each week and thought we had great chemistry, but I insisted he was just a friend. A year later, when I came back for the fall, something changed. We started flirting, and he invited me over to his place. He showed me his record collection and played Just You and Me by Chicago for me. We talked for hours and ended the night up on the rooftop. It was romantic, and I knew he wanted to kiss me, but I was terrified. I only gave him a quick peck on the lips. I was overthinking everything. I loved being with him, but what if it didn't work out? I didn't want to lose him or hurt him. A few days later, we were walking around campus having a great time, and I told him I was just too afraid to open my heart up. He said, 'You will never know what could have been if you don't try. Why not put a few miles on the car?' We had our first real kiss, and it was magical. 7 months later, and I'm so in love. He is so supportive, loving, and we have so much fun together. We have a great relationship, and he reminds me to take chances and not worry so much. We haven't been together long, but I can see a future with him. Attraction and chemistry is amazing, but date someone who you first and foremost love spending time with." That was great.
That was sweet.
That was great.
All the little butterflies.
That's like actually like dream situation too.
Yeah, I keep telling my partner since we met on Bumble that anytime someone ever asks us like, "Oh, how'd you guys meet?" we have to just
make
lie.
up a story. Yeah.
And so every time we talk about it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, like let's think up our story." And I kind of want it to be where every time someone asks,
it's different.
And even if the same person asks like, "Oh yeah, how'd you guys meet again?" Like, just like the most like, "Oh, we were at the grocery store and we both wanted the last box of cookies, and then he let me have them, but I told him he could come over, and we shared them together, and then we,
and then the rest was history."
Yeah.
That's actually a good one. Did you come up with that on the fly?
Yeah, I did.
That was
I've been
good.
practicing. Yeah. My favorite one, though, is we got into a car accident that, like, I hit his car. So we had to give each other our numbers. But then he let me off because he thought I was cute.
I hit his car is crazy. Oh, my God. Bye. This one says, "I just recently started seeing someone, and things have gotten really beautifully intense pretty quickly. We've both struggled a lot in the past year with feeling unwanted/unlovable. And the other day we were just holding each other, and they grabbed my face and said, 'Look at me. You are so lovable. I don't think I've ever felt so valued and seen before.'" Y'all, go to hell with these stories.
Got that words of affirmation going. So important. Tell your partners that you care about them. It means so much. And even if you're like, they should know. Okay.
Like, make sure they know.
Yeah, and it's so nice. And you don't know when you're going to be able to tell them that again. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like,
and
you don't leave things unsaid.
I'll say this too. Like, whatever is important to you in a relationship, like, keep that, because something that was important to me, and I actually, like, this would also be considered my green flag, is like, I want to be posted on your social media. I know that's small.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like rather insignificant. And there's so many people that are like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Like, social media isn't real. But like, I'm so sorry. Like, it is real. It's not going anywhere. And like, as far as I'm concerned, like, that's how you tell people like what you're up to, or like what's new with you,
what's
and
important in your
what's
life.
important in your life. And like, can I not be on your story? Like, that personally, like, I just won't tolerate not being posted.
No, I think that
Sorry.
I completely agree. I think that it might sound like a small thing,
Mm-hmm.
but small things add up to big things in
Yes.
relationships, because every day is not some movie or some crazy gesture. Like, every day being with someone for like 30, 40 years is about those small things. Have you seen those trends on TikTok where it's like, it's little but it's big to me, and then it'll like, it's like a picture, and then it slides to the next thing, and it has like all the little like tiny things that people can do to make you feel valued.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that
They're
trend.
so sweet. And me and my partner send each other TikToks all the time, and I have to like stop myself from sending them because I don't want to get too sappy, because I'm such a sappy person, and I don't want to be like, every time you tell me you like me, my heart flutters. Like, I may feel that way, but I don't.
Right. I don't need you to know that.
Right. This is coming right after I was like, tell your partner how you feel. Don't keep anything on the inside.
Let it all out. But also, we like to keep it cool around here because it's not that serious, you know? It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, post your partner. I think that also goes along with the PDA thing too, for me personally. So I just had to throw that out there because I do feel very strongly about that. This one says, my first date with my now boyfriend / lover was at this art district in my area. And the first Friday of every month, the art district puts on something called First Friday. Lots of people come out and listen to live music, eat at food trucks, shop, and etc. And ever since my boyfriend and I's first date there, we try to go back every first Friday for a date. And it's very wholesome and full circle. I love seeing how much we have grown since our first date there.
So sweet.
These stories are so good.
Too bad this isn't a Valentine's Day episode.
I know, low
but
key.
it is spring. Spring's new beginnings. Flowers blooming.
Do you think I'll have a boyfriend this year?
I hope so, Queen. If
We'll
that's
see.
what you want.
I would love a partner. I would love to be taken seriously. This time. Moving on. This one says, listen, there really isn't a lot to tell, but anyways, I was out the day before yesterday. I was pretty sober. Anyways,
I love that that's a note in there. I was outside sober.
I was pretty it has a question mark next to it too. I was pretty sober? Question mark. Anyways, this guy, let's call him Eric, also seemed pretty sober, introduced himself because I was sitting next to him. I tell him my name and he tells me his. Also, he's pretty hot, but I don't realize it then, and I'm autistic, so talking isn't that easy for me. Also, I had my eye on another dude that I had liked years earlier, and he recognized me, but nothing happened because I'm awkward. This emoji. Also, he left. So anyways, back to Eric. Me and my friends go dancing, and me and Eric end up dancing with the same people, and he's a lot of fun. Like, he's really let loose on the dance floor, you know, and we love that. An hour goes by and we have to leave, and we have one mutual friend. So as Eric says bye to him, and as Eric is turning around, I tap him on the shoulder to say bye. I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he pulls me into a hug. That's it for the night. The next day, which was yesterday, I follow him on IG and DM him like, hey, it was nice to meet you yesterday, even though we didn't talk a lot. You seem nice. I'm probably in his request since he hasn't followed me back yet. A gal can hope. Also, to add to why he seems like a great guy, he listens to Hosier, Arctic Monkeys, and Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, so I'm hoping it goes somewhere. Fingers crossed. If you want to see what he looks like, just DM me. I think you figured out who I am because I DM'd you before writing this. Oh, yeah, you sure did. I love this for you. I do hope it works out.
New beginnings, girly. Me and my partner do something really sweet where every week we do our music picks of the week. And I'm not a big music person. I'm more of a podcast person. And they really like country music, and I'm not a country music girly pop. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. But he also doesn't like musicals. So I pick the song that I've listened to that week, just like whatever normal song I've listened to, because I usually listen to the same song on repeat for weeks at a time.
Sure.
So I send that to him, and then I send him a musical of the week that kind of culturally is important. Like when Parade came out, when the new recording of that one came out, I sent him one of those songs. I sent him some songs from Chicago because those are very culturally important for musicals in general. And then he sends me a country song of the week and then a song he thinks I would like.
Okay, that's nice. That's very
nice.
nice.
And then we have to rate them before the week is up.
Oh, I love that.
We have to rate them on our scale of 1 to 10 and say kind of why.
Yeah, I love that.
Fun.
I love that. Those games are fun. Those things are fun. Do fun things with your partner. Like, things don't have to be stale and boring. You can do fun things. Man, that's making me love hearing things. Oh, man, this is all making me happy. This one says, so my boyfriend and I had been talking / dating for a year before we adopted the titles. Recently, he told me that 1 year anniversary of our first date was coming up. So he planned for us to go back to the same place we went on our first date. There was a photo booth there too. So now we have photos from when we went last year to this year. Very cool to see how the body language changed from the first date to being in love, unofficially making our anniversary 3/27 to track our photo development.
Oh, so sweet.
There was a photo booth there. I love when men do things like important. When they just can do things. I think sometimes men get a really bad rep for not using their brains. But when you use one, it is so good. Do you guys see what could happen when we all just like
are sweet?
That's so good. This is it's our last one.
Okay.
Last submission. Says, I honestly don't know if this is the best dating story or the worst, but it's a bit of both. It's a long dating story. I used to be in an extremely healthy long distance relationship with a guy I met in college. Our first date was the night I graduated. Our third date was my best friend's wedding. We dated officially for a year and 4 days exactly. I met him in a 5-person sculpture night class I was taking during the semester where COVID was still pretty bad. It was not love at first sight because as an art major, it's pretty typical to assume a man is gay in a studio art class. I also did not see his face for almost the entire semester because we were wearing masks. Half of the class did not really invest any effort into this class given that it's just a required class. And personally, I attempted to get my advisor to switch me to a class that would better suit my passions. But alas, I was forced to take it. He did not treat it as such, though, and even decided to sculpt on tree logs outside of the classroom rather than the small slivers of wood everybody else was doing. One day, however, he asked me if I wanted to sculpt on a log outside with him. I agreed, and from then on, it was just the two of us outside every class, barely being able to see and conversing through the moments of breaks from the power tools. I started falling for him, but didn't know he was falling for me. We both found out after we were dating that both of us would take the long ways to our cars just to have a couple extra minutes to talk to each other. This is a rather long story, so please reach out if you would like the rest of it.
That's so sweet. Not take the long way to the car.
I can only take so much.
Have you heard of the sidewalk rule?
I smell a viral clip. What happened?
It's not that crazy, but
oh wait, I have. Go ahead though.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's when a man is walking you to your car, man, woman, person,
right,
is walking you to your car, and they stand on the outside where the cars come, and you can stand on the inside as a way of like if there was water to come up, or if a car was driving crazy
to protect
and going
you
to hit someone, it would be that they would take the hit before you. And I only found out about this rule a couple weeks ago, and then I like thought back on all my dates, and my person had always done that. They had always stayed on the outside, and I asked him about it. I was like, do you know that this is a thing that like people do? He was like, yeah. He's like, I wanted to make sure like you are always safe. Isn't that so sweet?
It is really sweet. I found out about the sidewalk rule because I used to walk my little brother to school. And my mom was like, well, he's small, so you need to stay on the outside. So if the car does come and hit, it needs to be you and not him.
Oh, no.
You are big sis. And I was like, okay, perfect. So that's how I found out about the sidewalk rule.
That's so sad, Kyndal.
It's okay. Who's going to put me first?
I know. Kyndal needs someone to stand on the side of the sidewalk for her.
I need someone to take care of me. Guys, that's the episode. Thanks for tuning in.
I hope this made you guys get some butterflies.
I hope it also, like, I feel like it has the potential to either make people so fucking sad or it has the potential to be like, okay, like love is out there. I hope it's the latter.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I made you guys sick. I'm in my like happy girl era.
Right. I'm trying so desperately to be like, I am also so happy.
You are.
I am.
You have so much going for you, and you're in such a
Thank
fun
you.
place, like where you get to experience a lot of love coming at you, and you get to kind of pick and choose. And you have just think you have so much love to receive in the future,
For sure.
and you just get to go out and find it.
Absolutely.
So good.
Thanks for coming on the show, Anna.
Yes, of course. Next time, I can't wait to roast some more men, though.
Yeah, no, this was like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like the next episode, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, I gotta be back to feisty. I can't let people know like too much.
Yeah.
I gotta be a little coy.
She's a spicy Pisces. Remember that.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I mean, like out of all the stories that we heard today and out of all the like stories that we listened to, it's a nice reminder to remember that even though dating can be difficult, it's not that serious. Okay, everybody, have a good day.
Yes.
Kiss somebody you love.
Get a blanket. Cuddle up with them.